Hello and welcome to Nintendo Pals, the daily podcast all about Nintendo and friendship. Last week we asked you to give us a better lore explanation for the Sheikah technology disappearing in Tears of the Kingdom. And oh boy, have you delivered on answers. Micah, are you ready to dive into some of these fantastic Zelda lore answers?
Yup.
Greetings, fellow Nintendo Pals. Boy, Zelda lore. We all know it. We all love it and hate it. Multi-timeline split nonsensical nonsense. Be something you wish. Yeah, I mean, do you not know the lore?
Of course I know the lore.
Like at a high level.
At like the highest of levels.
You just don't hate it. I mean, the lore was applied retroactively. First off, the games were not originally made with the connecting timeline.
They make the game, and then they're like,
"Where does this? How does this?
How
fit?
does this fit?" And then they have someone throw a dart.
Yeah,
that's how they decide.
I mean, that's how they used to decide. Anymore, they were like, Breath of the Wild just takes place at the end of the timeline.
Well, that's because they missed with the dart. And
they just missed.
That's brilliant.
And then they were like, but what about for Tears of the Kingdom? Certainly, we can just build on the existing... And they missed again. It's like... Okay, so for those that aren't in the know, here's Nintendo's like official statement on why the Sheikah... Backtrack it all together. For those that haven't played Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, Breath of the Wild heavily utilized something called the Sheikah and their technology, which was ancient technology, but it was future sci-fi technology, right? So it was being uncovered archaeological dig style and being used by the people of Hyrule, but it was like futuristic technology, including giant mechanized animal robots, the Guardians, which are like the main, like not the main, but like one of the big enemies in the game, and towers and shrines. Fast forward to Tears of the Kingdom, which takes place undisclosed amount of years after Breath of the Wild. All that stuff is gone. It's just gone, all of it. And it was pretty heavily involved in the Breath of the Wild story, right? Especially with the divine beasts. Those were like the dungeons of that game. So here's the official reasoning for why. They disappeared after the Calamity was defeated, aka sealed. All of the people of Hyrule also witnessed this. But there is no one who knows the mechanism or reason why they disappeared, and it is considered a mystery. It is believed that since the Calamity disappeared, they also disappeared as their role had been fulfilled. Now, this is just bad. This is just a bad explanation for this, because their role was not fulfilled, because Ganondorf was still alive, all right? And also...
Spoilers.
Also... their purpose was fulfilled. The technology caused the problems.
Only kind of.
Mostly. They got taken over by the Calamity, and then
they just made things worse.
It really did. It really did make the Calamity worse. So it just has it's a lot of plot holes and they were just like, it disappeared. Bad explanation. I think you
No
and I
one
both agree.
cares because it's a mystery.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, there's like 8 million scholars in Tears of the Kingdom.
Oh my gosh. That part irks me to no end. They're like, they didn't look into it because it's considered a mystery. And there's this little note he puts at the end here. No one has tried to explore the matter further. Literally, part of the plot of Tears of the Kingdom is Purah going, there's this weird phenomena happening all over the region. Can you go explore it? Sometimes they want to check out the mystery, sometimes they don't.
Sometimes,
they're a fickle people.
Not only do they not want to check it out, they never mention it ever. Anyone.
Yeah, nobody. Yeah,
entire land of Hyrule.
True. Tears of the Kingdom. They don't even mention that. Like, oh man, this is too bad we don't have those divine beasts. Am I right, Link? Like, nobody says anything about it at all. There's like barely even any references to it. Heck, even freaking bird guy, not Rivali, the other one, the one that's good.
Cool one.
Yeah.
Yeah. What is his name?
Audience is screaming at us right now.
Does it start with an R and have a U in it?
Rito?
No, I was thinking of Ruto.
Ruto.
Ruto the Rito.
Ruto the Rito. You look it up.
I actually can't remember any of their names. Except Sidon. But...
it's gonna come to me, and I feel like I need to look it up. Rito, Breath of the Wild accordion. Man, I'm gonna feel so dumb. Cass. Golly, how could I not remember Cass's name?
Oh, that's who you're talking about?
I was talking about Cass. Yeah. Oh, were you talking about
one of the
Teba?
sage?
Teba,
yeah.
Teba. I can remember his name.
I can't remember.
I should remember Cass's name.
I definitely remembered Cass's.
Why didn't you like throw that out there after I said accordion?
I just thought you were being a psychopath and couldn't think of the right word to search.
Fedora Will in the chat goes, "Oh yeah, where was Cass?" Well, he wherever the Sheikah technology went, he's there too.
Yeah, didn't you know he's actually a Sheikah technology robot?
He's actually a robot. But that's just a theory. A game theory. Okay, let's move on to your answers, because we asked you to give us better lore than what Nintendo gave.
And literally everyone did.
Literally everyone did. Well, literally everyone is a better idea. Even the bad ideas are better than what Nintendo gave. While I'm coughing to death over here, my God, why don't you read off the first one?
Cockapoo theory is the bokoblins ran out of meat, so they had to eat the Sheikah tech.
That's why they have horns. Like it's all Sheikah tech modifications that they've eaten.
Well, they have horns?
Yeah, they didn't have horns in the first game. How they do?
That's what you thought.
I mean, they had like a little tiny one.
They all had the little horns.
Yeah, not the big scythe-shaped ones, and the one that looks like a Pikmin.
Yeah, the Pikmin horn is the best.
Oh, and it's a silver bokoblin too, so it's actually good, which is so goofy. Anyway, I like this explanation a lot. They ate them. Yeah. Gotta like it. Those bokoblins doing their thing. Elabeo gives us our next one. And Elabeo just responded with, I have no idea what that means. So Elabeo does not does not know what we're talking about. Hopefully we give some context at the beginning of the episode for anybody that has no idea what we're talking about. So now they know. Now they know why this needs to be fixed. So I'll give the next one here, because that was a short answer. From Spider-Shan, a fellow Zelda expert, I'd say. Spider-Shan's very knowledgeable on his Zelda stuff. He says, my story is that it all stopped working, So it was all being collected so they could study, repurpose, backwards engineer it. It was being kept near the castle and swallowed up in the depths. Not a bad explanation that it was like swallowed
Yeah,
up.
pretty good.
But then you don't
Although you
see
can
it.
go into the depths,
Yeah,
though.
you don't see it in the depths.
It fell past the giant tree.
Oh, yeah, good. Yeah. Um I kind of vibe with this explanation in that because they did reverse engineer it. Like Pura made her own tower system for this game. Towers are in different spots. Um but yeah, so there's some evidence to this. They were like, well, shoot. And she also made her own Sheikah slate, the Pura pad. She was like, Wii U? What are you guys talking about? All I got is the Switch. So yeah, I like this explanation, but yeah, it also there's some shaky bits here because it's like stuff isn't in the depths. But Micah, what's the next one? What's the next one here?
Maddie Beth, Queen of Clock Rule, says Purah collected it all and repurposed it into the new towers in Purapad. Also, maybe there's a self destruct mechanism on the Guardians, or maybe they and the Divine Beasts ran away because gloom is scary.
I cannot imagine the divine beasts ran away, but the rest of this I vibe with as
I
well.
think that makes a lot of sense. They're like, wait a second, last time we got corrupted made things worse. We're just going to back out of this one.
Oh, I like that. That's good. Yeah, because those are piloted by the ghosts of Christmas past. Those are piloted by the ghosts of the champions, right? But I guess
Yep.
the ghosts of the champions kind of just phased out, became one with the Force at the end of Breath of the Wild. In the
Yeah,
true
maybe.
ending, where you got to get all the cutscenes, they and we don't see them at all in this game. So
That's because the Divine Beasts ran away.
yeah, no, I think that they are no longer piloting the Divine Beasts. So the Divine Beasts would have had to be piloted by Link and Zelda, or the new champions, which is what I thought they were going to do in the first game. But hey, they became sages, so there you go. Except for Tiba. Sorry, Tiba. Yeah, it makes sense because I like the idea that they just repurposed it. They like used the pieces of that tech to just build the new stuff. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. This one comes from Polky 500, which I think this is supposed to be Plocky 500, aka Blondie 500. Says Tears of the Kingdom fell into an alternate timeline when Zelda went back in time, causing all that technology to have never existed. And the technology we see in the game replaces it in this timeline. But, like, since it's a timeline glitch, no one realizes or questions it. Which,
And this is actually, when you asked this question, this was essentially my theory as well. So I'm
oh,
all for this theory.
there's precedence for this in the series. This happens in Skyward Sword. Do you remember when you like plant the seed
No,
in the past,
absolutely
and
not.
Groose is like, so you go to the present, right? Because there's some time travel shenanigans that happens in Skyward Sword. There's always some time travel shenanigans in Zelda, just a little bit, anyway. Um, you are in the present, and there's like this patch, and they're like, oh yeah, we need a special fruit in order to heal this dragon. And Groose is like, man, too bad we don't. It'll take so long for this tree to grow. So then you go back to the past, and then you plant it in that same spot, and then you come to the future / present, And Groose is like, "This tree has always been here. Here's a fruit for you."
Oh, I
Yeah.
have absolutely no recollection of that.
Yeah, well, I do. I remember it. I wasn't subject to the glitching timeline. I didn't forget. So yeah, so there's precedence for that, for this exact thing. It's like an alternate timeline. I kind of thought the same because boop, 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 boop. I don't know why I'm doing antennas here, but my antennas were going, maybe this is actually in the timeline of Age of Calamity, because in Age of Calamity you have some time travel shenanigans. Spoilers for Age of Calamity. You defeat Calamity Ganon in the original Calamity War instead of in the future after 100 years. Thanks to people
Seems like the
traveling.
better way to do it.
Thanks to people traveling from the future, aka like Sidon is one of those people, travels from the future to the past to change the past. So my guess is like this is on the branching timeline, but that doesn't make sense either, because in that, Link and Zelda don't end up 100 years in the future, which is where this game starts. So no go on that. No go on my theory there, unless they somehow got thrown into the future anyways. But nah, I don't know. There might be some like weird timeline shifty stuff going on. We got one more answer here. It's a two-parter, so let's read. Let's take this in parts. You can take possibility 1 from Fedorable Will.
Yeah, the first possibility: the Sheikah are environmentally conscious, and their stuff decomposed into that blue data stuff you see when Link warps, including his slate, and they now all live in a matrix hidden deep underground.
Like even deeper than the depths.
The deep depths.
The depths the depthsist. Hey, not a bad idea. And then possibility 2. I do like this one. I haven't even read it, just the first word. I know this is going to be a good theory. Speedrunners were clipping through them so much that they decided to clip out of the world out of spite. The shrines were like, yeah, screw this. We're nothing. We're not even we're nothing to these speedrunners. So we're out of here. Regardless of the answer, the Sheikah. This is more on Fedorable Will's answer. Regardless of the answer, the Sheikah are more responsible than the rentable e-scooter companies that have littered urban downtown areas with their tripping hazards. So true. I have noticed that. There have been a lot more of those things in the downtowns. I do like this, but also I don't like it, because it's like, well, why didn't they do that when they were corrupted, or like before they were corrupted?
Well,
How did they know?
were corrupted.
How did they know their purpose was fulfilled? What would have told them that? Like
They
Link,
themselves.
Link in the on the Sheikah slate was like, check, we're done. It's all finished. and then all the technology was like, whoosh, just turned to data and disappeared. Do you have any additional theories you want to throw in the ring here?
Just the one that Polky 500 stole from me, essentially.
I'm pretty sure they came up with it on their own. I think alternate timeline makes the most sense. They never directly reference the events of the first game.
Yeah, they're like, oh, you think this is actually happening right after Breath of the Wild? No, this is not even related practically. Alternate reality.
Yeah. Yeah, but that also just doesn't make sense. Like, I don't like that explanation.
It makes a lot of sense. That happens a lot, I feel, kind
Yeah,
of.
but why would the problem is Link's time travel in Breath of the Wild to the present day when you're playing from 100 years in the past is due to the calamity happening. And so,
I'm not saying the calamity didn't happen.
right, but then how if the calamity didn't happen?
The calamity did happen.
Okay, but okay, if it did happen, how did he get 100 years into the future?
Have you ever watched Captain America?
Yes. Did he freeze
He fell into
himself?
some ice.
Cryo sleep?
Yep.
Because even
It was a hunting
even the
accident.
Shrine of Resurrection is gone. It's gone. Like there's the cave is still there, but all the technology is just disappeared. And all of that stuff was kind of vital to, I mean, so he'd have to have like a different time travel mechanic and Zelda as well, because they are
Or
both.
maybe it's not even 100 years in the future. Everything is different.
It's just like a completely new timeline.
Wait.
That
Someone
doesn't.
stepped on that one butterfly and it changed everything slightly.
Yeah, that doesn't not work. I don't like it, but yeah, I mean, they could just be like, yeah, this is just alternate timeline. Breath of the Wild is at the end of the you won against an Ocarina of Time, and Tears of the Kingdom is at the end of one of the other ones. The like you lost to, because Ocarina of Time is where it splits, right? So there you go. This will fit on the three-prong timeline. Because yeah, it doesn't fit. It doesn't fit. And the fact that no one mentions it even slightly. The most we get from like previous games is like, Link, it's great to see you again. Man, we sure had an adventure together. At one point, in one of the cutscenes, Zelda tells Rauru that Link was a knight, but then he turned into a great hero and was very brave and but she doesn't say why or how. So it could be many things. I don't like this. I want them to be direct sequels to each other, which is what Nintendo intended. But then they decided, let's just throw away all the Sheikah stuff. But they didn't need to do that, though. They could have just closed it
Can
all.
you can you imagine how upset all those people would be that were like, "Oh, it's already just big DLC. They're charging for a whole new game." If they still had the Sheikah stuff around,
Yeah, no, they wouldn't be upset because it's just there.
they would be upset.
No, no, they. It's
Absolutely. I mean, they were already upset thinking that Tears of the
like
Kingdom was just
they
DLC.
they already had guardians that were like crumbled and like decayed. Just do that to everything. Like all of the Sheikah towers and stuff are still there, but they are no longer functional because post calamity, the power source or whatever
But then you
died.
potentially can't put other cool stuff at those locations.
I mean, yes, you can. Just put it right on top of it, like or what? You know what I'm saying? Like it's totally doable. They could make this. They could make this work better. They just didn't, and they don't have to, because clearly lore is not a priority for the Legend of Zelda. It's just not, and so it's up to us, the fans, to fill in the gaps with our imagination, and that's where we'll close this episode. Like I feel like I just closed out like a really cool news report. Uh, Micah, where can people find you on the interwebs?
You can find me on Twitch at Micah Prime.
You can find me on Twitch and YouTube at Andros1. And if you're watching on YouTube, be sure to subscribe, like, leave a comment. What do you think about this goofy lore. Why and how could they fix it? Speaking of how could they fix it, how could you help fix this show? By donating to our Patreon. Patreon.com/NintendoPals. Where for as little as $1, you can be a part of our Patreon Poke Rap that we close every episode with, and we will close this episode with right now. We gotta rap some Patreon.
You just do the singing. I'll take care of the hard part.
Let's get it on.
We want to be the best that ever was. And shout out our pals over on Patreon.
LPD, Rizzo, Retro Logic Dan, Tim the Nintendo Dash, Slim, Tor, Spider Chan, Solo something, Mute Dog the Gamer, Little Miss 7, and Monkey Thunder.
Catch 'em, gotta catch 'em all. Gotta catch 'em all. Patreon.
Kid, Fiasco, Third Strongest Mole, Fedorable Will, All, and Seth Sturgill, Cosmic, Purple, Riola, That Fast John, and Mother Plays too.
Gotta catch 'em all. Gotta catch 'em all.
Yeah,
Gotta catch 'em all. Gotta catch 'em all.
yeah.
Gotta catch 'em all. Patreon. Let's get 150 or more, yeah, please. To be a Patreon donor is your destiny.
Thank you all so much for listening, and we will talk to you in the next episode. Bye-bye!